So if you are watching this video, it's probably because you have been blocked by Instagram. You've been blocked from following or unfollowing and likes and comments and things like that. In this video, I'm going to tell you probably why that has happened, how you can fix it, and how to avoid it in the future. Now, why were you blocked on Instagram, right? From following, unfollowing, liking, commenting, things like that. Well, it's because Instagram has limits on your activity, and we've got a pretty good idea of what these limits are, but nobody really knows for sure, okay, outside of Instagram. The other thing is that Instagram rules are constantly changing, and so things that used to work maybe yesterday are not working today. And you know, when Instagram makes these changes, they don't really tell you ahead of time that they're going to make them. All that really happens is that you're doing things just like you've always done, and suddenly you get blocked and you're left kind of wondering why, and you're searching the internet and you find a video like this that kind of tries to explain it to you. So the key to this is that you really need to stay on top of these changes, especially if you're using third-party tools to manage your Instagram account. Okay, if you're using any sort of auto poster or any sort of auto follow tool or unfollow or things like that, you really need to stay on top of these changes when they happen. Okay, now since you're here, this probably already has happened. So what do you need to do to get around this block? Okay, first thing is you want to stop all of your activities until the block is lifted. If you log in to Instagram, it should and you try to follow or you try to do one of these activities that you've been blocked from, Instagram should tell you when the block will be lifted. Okay, it'll tell you that you've been blocked from activity and this block will be lifted in on this date at this time. Okay, it should give you a specific date and time that the block will be lifted. Typically, it's going to be 24 to 48 hours. I've seen blocks go for as long as 1 or 2 weeks or sometimes even more, depending on how many times you've been blocked. Okay, repeat offenders are definitely going to serve a longer block sentence. So you're going to be blocked from activities like following or unfollowing, likes, comments. Okay, these are the activities that you want to stop when you're being blocked. Okay, just take a break from all this. If you're using automation tools, just stop those altogether and stop these activities. Now, other activities you should continue to do. You should be sending signals to Instagram that you're using their platform like a normal person. Okay. So when a normal person gets blocked, that doesn't mean that they stop using Instagram altogether. They still do things like post, right? They'll post pictures and stories and videos and things like that. They will still view other posts and view other people's stories and things like that. Okay, they're still going to use Instagram's other features even though they can't do following, unfollowing, likes, and comments. Okay, if you're a spammy bot account and the only thing you were using Instagram for was to follow, unfollow, like, comment, and do things that only bots do, well, then if you stopped all activity and you're not doing these other things, then that's a pretty clear signal to Instagram that you're not really a real person or a real account. So you want to send all the signals to Instagram that you're not just a spammy bot account, that you're a real person, that you use Instagram like a real person. Okay, so stop the activities at the top, continue doing the activities on the bottom. Now, that being said, what are Instagram's limits? Okay, what are the limits that you need to stick to in order to help prevent this from happening in the future? One thing to keep in mind is that these are not hard and fast rules. Okay, number one, because Instagram changes these rules on a regular basis, and also because nobody outside of Instagram really knows what these true limits are, okay, or how they're calculated, because they're actually different for different accounts, depending on your previous activity, how many times you've been blocked in the past, how many followers you have, how active you've been in the past, how often you post, your engagement rate. All of these things are factors that Instagram could be calculating to determine what your actual limit is. Okay, so the limits that I'm going to suggest here in this video are from our own personal experience and from the experience of others that we know of. Basically, we figured this out through trial and error. So as far as Instagram's limits for following and unfollowing, okay, one thing you have to keep in mind is that following and unfollow actions count the same. So in any given day, you can probably do about 600 to 800 follows and or unfollows maximum. Sometimes we've been able to go 1,000 or sometimes even more follows and unfollows per day, but typically if we stay within the 600 to 800 per day range, that's a safe zone for us. And this can be any combination of follows and unfollows. It could be 800 follows and 0 unfollows. It could be 500 follows and 300 unfollows. It could be 300 follows and 300 unfollows. However you want to mix that up, those actions count the same towards this limit. The other thing you have to keep in mind is that there is also a rate limit, basically a speed limit on how fast you can go. What we found is that 60 follows and or unfollows per hour is what the limit is for most people. Okay, like sometimes we've been able to go faster, but for the most part we stay under this speed limit, is 60 follows and or unfollows per hour. Usually we go slower because of this new limit. Okay, and this is, as of the middle of 2019, this is a new limit that people have found that Instagram has, is that there's now a monthly limit as to how many follows and unfollows you can perform. And what we found is that it's around 6,000 per month. Okay, some people, they get to 5,500, 5,400, somewhere around that range, and they get stopped, right? They get blocked. Others have been able to go 6,500 or sometimes even more, and they're not getting stopped. Okay, but what we figured is that somewhere around 6,000 follows and or unfollows per month is going to be the monthly limit, okay, in addition to these other things. So however you reach that monthly limit is up to you, okay? If you did 600 follows or unfollows per day, you were going to hit that monthly limit in 10 days. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind, is that if you are maxing out your daily follows, you're going to hit that monthly limit pretty quick. Okay, so this monthly limit is one of the new things that you're going to have to keep in mind. If you have a brand new account, okay, you've got to start slow. If you've got an account that you just recently opened up, if it's less than 3 months old, especially if it's an account with fewer than 5 to 10,000 followers, and you're starting this follow and unfollow process, if you're doing the follow for follow method to grow your account, you need to start slow. Okay, you need to start slow and then increase your activity week by week. You cannot with a new account or with an account with very few followers, you cannot just hit these daily maximum limits on day one. Okay, that is a guaranteed way to get shut down really quick. So you want to start slow. What I would suggest, start at 30 to 50 follows or unfollows per day for the first week. So every day, 30 to 50 follows and or unfollows. If everything goes well, okay, if you're not getting locked out after that first week, increase that by 25. Okay, and do that each week until you reach a maximum of 193 follows and or unfollows per day. And the reason why we choose 193 is because that will bring you just underneath that 6,000 per month limit. Okay, if you do that over the course of 31 days. So what that might look like is week 1, you might follow 30 people per day. So 30 people per day on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, all the way up to day 7. If everything's going okay, following 30 people per day, then starting week 2, you start following an extra 25 people per day, okay, which will bring you up to 55. And if everything goes well, you're not getting blocked or things like that, week 3, you're going to up that to 80 per day, okay, add another 25 onto that. And you just keep going until you reach that maximum of 193 follow and or unfollow actions per day. Other limits that you need to be aware of is things like likes, comments, and direct messages, okay? So for likes, what we found is that for the most part, you can do about 1.5 times the number of follows you do per day. Okay, so if you do, say, 100 follows per day, you could probably like about 150 posts, okay, because that is 1.5 times the number of follows. Okay, see how that works? So that's roughly about what you want to do as far as likes. As far as comments, about 100 to 150 per day is safe. Again, sometimes we've been able to do upwards of 200 to 250, but typically that's a danger zone. When we stick to around 100 to 150 comments per day, we're typically pretty safe. We're not getting blocked or locked out of our account. As far as direct messages go, about 50 to 80 new conversations per day is safe. Now, if you're continuing conversation, if somebody replies to you and you reply back, that doesn't count in this total. 50 to 80 new conversations per day is our safe zone. And like I said before, we've seen it where you can do a lot more than this. But again, when you start exceeding these limits, that's when you really start to get blocked and locked out of your account. So this is typically the range that we stay in. Now, with all that being said, what really is the best way to grow your following? Now, if you're watching this, it's probably because you've been using the follow for follow method to grow your account and you got blocked, right? Here's the thing, when growing your Instagram account, you have to keep one thing in mind. is that people are on social media for basically 3 reasons. Number 1 is to connect with people. Number 2 is to share content. And number 3 is to consume content and to be entertained. Okay, so whatever social media platform you're on, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, you want to be facilitating these 3 activities. Okay, this is how you keep a healthy social media account, no matter where you are, Instagram or anywhere else. You want to connect with people, which, is why follow for follow still works, is because that's how you connect with people. I know that there's a lot of people out there that poo-poo the follow for follow method, but here's the thing, is that that's part of what social media is for, is to connect with people, to follow people, and to make new connections. Now, can you abuse that and do it in a really spammy way? Well, yeah. And you can also abuse posting content, and you can post really spammy content as well. You can comment on other people's posts and be commenting with really spammy stuff as well. You can abuse all of these things on social media. It's not just the following that you can abuse. So what you want to make sure that you're doing is that if you're doing follow for follow, if you're commenting on other people's posts, when you share your own posts, you want to make sure that you're doing it in a way that's not spammy. Because here's the thing, your competitors are really only a mouse click away on the internet, and especially on social media. So if you're doing things in a really spammy way, people are going to go somewhere else where they're going to connect with somebody that they actually want to connect with, where they're going to connect with somebody that is actually leaving thoughtful comments on their posts, who is providing valuable content rather than spammy content. So you need to make sure that you're doing these things, okay, and that you're posting relevant, valuable, shareable content on a regular basis, and that you're not just following and unfollowing people without having a good profile set up and without posting, valuable content on a regular basis. Okay, that's actually the worst thing you can do, is to, open up an Instagram account and just start following and unfollowing people to try and get followers and traffic without providing any real value. Okay, so it doesn't matter how you're growing your Instagram account, whether you're using follow for follow or you're paying for ads or whatever you're doing, you need to make sure that you're engaging with people the right way. So for example, if you are doing follow for follow, right, you don't want to just follow anybody on Instagram. What you want to do is to grow a targeted following, okay? People who actually have an interest in the niche that you're in, okay? In whatever industry that you are. Target followers of niche accounts and also of niche hashtags. And then when you do follow somebody, make sure that you interact with them, right? They are sharing content and they're going to follow people who are interacting with that content. So when you follow somebody, make sure to go through their feed and like a couple of their posts, okay? When you follow them, that's going to increase the likelihood that they, number 1, follow you back, but number 2, that they also engage with you as well, which is what you really want. Also, when you follow somebody and you've liked a few of their posts, go ahead and make a thoughtful comment on at least one of their posts. And when I say a thoughtful comment, make sure it's more than 4 words, for sure. Because anything less than 4 words, Instagram is almost automatically going to consider a spammy comment, okay? Again, when you do this, you're engaging with people and you are engaging with the content that they are sharing. And it makes it much more likely that they'll, number 1, follow you back, but also engage with your own content, which is really what you want, is a large and engaged audience. Now, other ways to get followers. Doing follow for follow works great. We've used it ourselves on our own Instagram accounts, but it's just one of the many ways to actually get followers on Instagram. Now, if you want to learn some other ways and learn more of our strategy that we use to build our business on Instagram, we've got a full training that you can register for. Just click the link in the description of this video to get registered for our next upcoming training. And in addition to that, we also have a bunch of other videos here on YouTube that you can check out. We've actually got a whole playlist of Instagram tutorials that you can go through. But Instagram is one of the main strategies that we use to build our business online, so definitely check out those videos. If this video was helpful for you, go ahead and give us a like. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you get all of the most recent updates on Instagram and also a bunch of other strategies to grow your business online on social media. Leave a comment as well. Say hi. If you've got questions, you can ask questions in there and we will answer it. Once again, this is Todd Getz from toddandleahrae.com, and I will catch you next time.